Hey everyone, welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda. Remember to like, share, subscribe, check us out on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you are. And happy Cinco de Mayo.
Happy Cinco de Mayo, man.
Yeah, and as you may or may not know, Cinco de Mayo is celebrated because it is the anniversary of Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862. And to commemorate this event, we will review a very special movie. As you know, whenever there's injustice, you will find us.
Whenever there's suffering, we'll be there.
Whenever liberty is threatened, you will find
The Three Amigos!
All right. I'm not quite sure if this accurately
portrays
the Battle of Puebla in 1862, but hey, it's probably the best movie you never saw or remembered or thought was.
It was. This movie would not be made today. It is, as you so eloquently put it, it's Tropic Thunder from the 80s.
Tropic Thunder, but you know what? It's actually not offensive at all.
No, not at all. It's like out of context, yes, but you know these guys are actors, and they're actors in like what, the early 1920s or
it's silent film era.
Yeah,
it's it does kind of accurately portrays Hollywood back in the day too.
It does.
Even just watching them getting kicked out of the studio,
you're like, whoa! And they're like, oh,
wearing their old timey underwear too.
Yeah, but the whole trouser setup.
But we'll talk about this movie. If you haven't seen The Three Amigos, see The Three Amigos. Go see The Three Amigos for Cinco de Mayo right now because it is Cinco de Mayo when this comes out.
Well, you have Steve Martin, you have Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and not to mention John Lovitz and Phil Hartman.
Yeah, Phil Hartman.
Cameos here. And Joe Magliana also appears briefly in this movie. I find myself quoting this movie more often than I think.
I didn't realize I was quoting this movie as often as I thought I was.
Whenever it's Christmas or someone's birthday, I always want to say, it's a sweater! It's a sweater! It's a sweater! Oh, I should have worn sweaters.
Dang it!
It's hot.
It's too hot for that.
It's hot, but hey, there you go.
It's good. We wore our favorite mustaches. I don't know if you can tell if you're watching us.
Yeah. So we were saying this movie reminds us of Tropic Thunder, but I was thinking more along the lines of a more modern, also kind of remake, or is Galaxy Quest.
You know, I have never actually seen that movie.
Maybe we'll see Galaxy Quest one of these days because it actually is the identical plot, but also reminds me of Massive Talent.
Okay,
your favorite movie starring Nicolas Cage being a hapless superhero or hapless hero at the end of that movie.
Yeah.
But I think that this movie is a great movie.
Yeah, I couldn't really fault it, man. I was watching it, and it's a movie that came out in 1986, according to IMDb here. And it holds up. It's so much fun to watch. I was genuinely laughing. Almost did a few spit takes while watching it. It was that good.
Yeah, and every time I watch it, I find something different. And then I saw it as a kid and liked it, but then I saw it as an adult more recently, and I saw the humor in it. Yeah.
The real humor.
Well, it's funny because when I saw it as a kid, I remember the little balls joke, and then they cut that for the TV version. I remember thinking, why did they cut that? And then as an adult, I realized why.
Yeah. You watch it. Do you know what kind of plane that is?
It's a Tugman 601. Look at that. You can tell by its little balls.
It's a mail plane.
Little balls. Little balls.
Oh, that was Martin Short saying that. It was great.
Little balls. I'm just reading my notes, and I wrote, look up here. I'm like, what is that? Oh. Look up here. Look up here. Look up here.
Wow. You guys.
You guys.
The bird calls.
You guys, look up here. Look up here. Look up here. And then,
up here.
And then the pan out. Guys, here.
It is the best. Like the literal physical
Why did
slapstick
I write
humor.
Look up here. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You should have wrote bird noises.
Yeah, bird noises. Well, this worked anyway.
Oh, man. It's good. So let's get to the freaking plot of the movie.
Okay.
So people know what we're talking about. We're not just...
So the plot of this movie is that there is a city of Santa Poco in Mexico. That is Santa Poco in Mexico. The poor people of Santa Poco in Mexico are under siege by a gang, a warlord named El Guapo. Not to be confused with El Gato.
Yeah. El Gato saves people.
Yeah. but El Guapo. And they are in desperate need of heroes.
Yes.
So Carmen and her brother, her son, I forget.
Yeah. I think her brother.
I think her brother. Yeah, I think her brother.
Yeah.
Go into town and find a sleazy hive of scum and villainy, a bar in Mexico somewhere, and they're looking for a hero. And what do they find? More scum and villainy.
More scum and villainy.
More trash. People hit on her. They treat her badly, and they get kicked out.
Yep.
So where do they turn to? The church.
The church.
The church.
Yes.
And what happens to be playing in church?
A silent film.
A silent film.
Featuring the three amigos.
The three amigos vanquishing a bandito.
Yeah, a bandito. And the thing is, obviously, this is like 1920s their time. So they have to figure, or even earlier, they have to figure that they don't know that this isn't like a live action depiction. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually hear that
or true life depiction, rather.
One of the first things ever displayed in a theater was the still image, or the video image of a train coming towards the camera. And everyone in the theater actually ran out.
Yeah.
Because they didn't realize it was real.
Yeah, they thought it was real. Like,
they didn't realize it was fake.
Yeah, imagine that. Like, that would be crazy.
So they see this three amigos. They think it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Like, we need to call these three amigos.
We need to make sure they come and help us now.
And they will run El Guapo out of town. So they go to the nearest telegraph guy. And the telegraph guy, they write this huge telegraph. Our city is under siege by the cruel, horrible, most awful villain, El Guapo.
He is the infamous.
What happens? The guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, the rewrite.
Yeah, the guy goes, okay, this version is,
because he doesn't want to write that out. He doesn't want to Morse code that.
It's 10 pesos. Yeah. And they go, oh, well, we only have 5 pesos. It's like, don't worry, I'll give you the 5 peso version. He goes, for this? And it says, put on a show, and El Guapo says, I write infamous.
Yeah.
Infamous. It means villainy. It means horrible.
Yeah.
It means terrible. This is good. I give you the $5 version. So, meanwhile, back in Hollywood, California.
Yep. 1920s.
Yeah. There are these three actors who actually have the same names as their characters, which is fine.
We have Lucky Day, Ned Nederlander,
and Dusty Bottoms. Dusty Bottoms.
Damn names.
Now, I actually think there's a deleted scene of them like waking up in like a mansion, like, oh, what a lovely day.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's supposed to like juxtapose later on.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, this movie cuts to them in Mr. Flugelman's office.
Yeah.
Played by Joe Manganiello. I'm sorry if I messed that up, but he also plays Fat Tony on The Simpsons. You'll notice him. He talks just like this.
He does. Yeah.
And he tells them the story of the three amigos. Everyone liked the three amigos.
Yeah.
A couple of rich Spanish landowners fighting banditos in Mexico. It's a story everyone wants to hear. But you guys got greedy. You guys made... I wrote it down.
I didn't write it down.
I wrote it down here. Those darn amigos. A bunch of Spanish landowners and their vacation in Manhattan. Nobody wants to see that.
Vacation in Manhattan. So dumb.
Yeah. And then he pitches them some lousy movie, and then like Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, yeah.
Steve Martin's what's his name?
Lucky Day.
Lucky Day. That'll be the day.
Yeah, that'll be the day.
That'll be the day. This'll be. You caught me on a bad day.
It'll be Phil Hartman. He was actually saying, what did he say? He said that'll be the day.
That'll be the day. Yeah, Phil Hartman and John Lovitz were his assistants.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's it. Don't you guys live in the company mansion? And Phil Hartman, kick him out. The amigos are out of the mansion. Yeah. Hey, are those the company clothes? Take the amigos' clothes. And wardrobe comes.
Starts taking their clothes off.
Starts taking their clothes off.
Oh,
hey,
man.
What are you guys doing?
And then kicks them right out to the street. Mm-hmm. Just right out there. And they're like, don't worry. Or Lucky Days, rather, like, don't worry. There's something always happening. Right as the words leave his mouth, a bike messenger carrying that telegram. Yeah,
telegraph for the three amigos. Yeah. Look at that. It says
just like that.
They want us to put on a show and fight the infamous El Guapo.
Yeah.
What does infamous mean?
I think it means infamous.
Oh, so you're so famous.
Yeah.
You're infamous.
Infamous is when you're more than famous. This man El Guapo, is not just famous, he's infamous.
Oh man, we got to do it. And they offered him a prize reward. Now, if you remember the silent film at the end,
Oh, right.
the townspeople offered them money.
Yeah, 100,000 pesos.
100,000 pesos. And justice was their reward.
So, of course, they don't take the money from the poor folk.
So the people of Santa Poco thought that like we'll give them this huge reward, but they'll give it back to us because they are good people.
Yeah, they're good people.
They are heroes.
Yeah. It's just weird. Something is lost in translation there.
Yeah, very, very well. Very good. Very, very good. But anyway, they need to get their clothes back. So they decide to break in to the wardrobe department or the prop department. Now, that's what we were alluding to earlier.
We were making the bird sound.
Yeah, where these guys were like it was Martin Short and
Chevy Chase.
Martin Short and Chevy Chase were like on the bottom, and Steve Martin was
this wall
was on the top of the wall.
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah. The camera starts, and it's just a tight shot of Steve Martin.
Hey guys, look over. Hey guys, guy, and he's like dancing at some point, like
and the camera does the wide shot and goes, "Hey guys, up here!" And they're like, "Oh,
he's as high up as like 4 feet up."
Yeah.
Hey, yo, guys!
He's just right there.
And then they have the Batman suit up scene.
Yeah,
where they're putting on their Amigo outfits,
strapping everything on, the belts,
and Indiana Jonesing away from security.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Good stuff.
Okay. So there's actually once you think about it, this movie actually has like a big subplot and it ties into it. And we cut to the bar, the hive of scum and villainy, and this time
the cantina.
This time, a German man walks in wearing a Red Baron outfit.
Yeah, he's like an airman.
Yeah. His like the leather getup with the goggles and the thing on his head.
Yeah.
And then he walks in and he goes, "Hey, a couple of my friends here will be coming in." I can't do a German accent.
He's like, "A few of my friends."
Yeah, a few of my friends will be coming in here. You be sure to show them take good care of them. Yeah. And then some cowboy's like, "Hey, dear, why don't you come here and sit in my lap?"
Yeah. You're like, "What is happening?"
Yeah, and the guy shoots him dead.
Yeah, he turns around. He's like, "That's a pretty gun you got right there."
Yo, yeah, that's a pretty little gun you got there. And the guy, oh, finally get to use the thing on the cowboy.
Nice.
But I didn't pick this up as a kid. It was the same gun. It was the Amigo gun he had.
Yeah, no, I picked that up immediately.
Yeah,
well, as a kid, obviously.
He had the Amigo gun.
Yeah, the little silver gun with the ivory handle.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. We had I called the sledgehammer gun with the ivory handle.
Yeah, there you go.
But anyway, he goes, "I hope you give my..." I got to pull Arnold Schwarzenegger out of the back of my throat. "I hope you give my friends who come a much better welcome than you gave me."
They are not so nice.
They are not as nice as me.
My voice changed into... What am I, like, slowly evolving to Antonio Banderas' voice?
I know. But I did a pretty good Joe Manganiello though there. I feel bad.
What's his name? Let's see. Joe Mantegna.
Joe Mantegna. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. You're a good guy.
A good guy.
That's what I hear. He's a good guy.
He's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
He's not a bad guy. He made it back. Oh, good stuff.
I even think he's been in a lot of things. I like that guy. Anyway,
yeah.
Now that I look at it, I kind of look like him with his beard.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, what was I gonna say? So now in come to Mexico the three amigos at this cantina. Now this cantina is filled with banditos and horrible cowboys, right?
Yeah.
In come these three amigos wearing their lavish peacock,
mariachi
black and white
shoots.
mariachi clothes.
Yeah, they're all like bedazzled to the T's, man.
And they walk in, and everyone's terrified of them because they think that this is the German guy.
Because he came in, or they came in rather, just mere moments after he had already left, and they see his gun. They see their guns, and they're the exact same guns.
The Amigo guns, yeah.
Yeah. So they're nice and shiny.
And the bartender's this big like Mexican guy. He's like afraid. He's like, "Hey, are you the guys?" Goes, "Yeah, we're the guys."
Yeah.
He like wigs with them. We're the guys.
Yeah. Steve Martin's like, yeah. See, they know
we're
us.
Big guys.
They know us. We're big.
And I'm thinking about this stupid scene. They're like, "Boy, this place is really dead. You know what we should do? What?" He's like, Dusty Bottoms. Why don't you go over to the piano over there? Let's do My Little Buttercup.
My sweet little buttercup.
My little buttercup. And these guys are terrified of them.
Yeah, it's Steve Martin and Martin Short. They are just
they're just silent air like dancing. My little buttercup. And these guys are terrified, the cowboys, and then they go like,
and then they're like, and then
they go to all the guys like with sweet smile, smile.
like, smile.
They're terrified of these guys.
Ah.
And even the martyrs like, my little buttercup. And then they're like, oh, that's great. And then then they leave. Oh,
Just wreck these guys emotionally
Yeah.
at this point.
And
And
then-
then who walks in right after?
Carmen.
No. The actual Germans walk in.
No, Carmen comes and picks up the Amigos.
Oh, right. Yes.
She picks up the Amigos and
Yes.
takes them to Santa Poco.
Santa Poco.
Now in come
Yeah.
the two Germans.
Yeah, the actual Germans.
The actual Germans, and they were actually wearing different outfits. They were wearing like suits,
Yeah.
like white, like James Bond kind of suits.
Yeah.
And they walk in, they go to the bar. And what does one cowboy say up on the rafters? Hey, what a bunch of sissies! And then everyone gets gunned down.
Dude, they all got shot. It's like, oh no. It was quick.
And then the bartender comes out and goes, "This town's getting too rough for me."
It's so good. Oh, we completely gloss over the scene. It's so stupid. It's when they all show up to the bar, they actually all ask for a drink. They're like, "Hey, do you have beer?" They're like, "No, we don't serve beer here. We have tequila." And he's like, "Is that beer?" He's like, "It's like beer." So he hands them each a shot, like a heavy pour, and they all take the shot down very smoothly, put it down. They all do a 180 and face the camera away from the bar, and they all do the stupidest poses ever. They like whip back so hard that that Dusty Bottom's entire foot is on top of the bar top. You didn't notice that?
No,
Yeah,
buildings.
it is hilarious. It's so good. And then they lead into My Sweet Little Buttercup.
Yeah. Carmen takes them back to Santa Poco, and they, I think I wrote it down. They like party a little bit, all right? Or they don't party here, but they have like dinner. Oh, do you have anything else besides Mexican food?
Oh, right. Yeah, 'cause they're eating Mexican food like haphazardly with a tortilla, and we cut over to Dusty Bottoms, and he's trying to taco a tortilla, but he drops everything out of it.
That's what I like about this movie. You know, there was a time I remember watching the Taco Bell story.
Yeah.
People thought it was pronounced like Taco Bell. What's a taco? You know, back in the day,
Yeah.
like, no one knew what it was.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, you go to some parts of the Midwest, and some people really just don't have a grasp on it because it's not as hard as it is to believe. There's not a lot of Mexican food apart from where we live here in Southern California.
Yeah, this is back in 1920.
Yeah.
1920 silent film era.
So you can imagine like seeing a tortilla, and you're like, what the hell is this thing?
So they stay at this place. They're not really clear about the show they have to put on. They all share one like twin bed.
Whoa! I just realized this kind of is like a pseudo version, or rather, Ants, or not Ants, the
Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life.
That's what
Yeah.
I wrote down, because A Bug's Life was also one of these movies where actors were forced to become heroes.
Yes.
So I wrote A Bug's Life and Galaxy Quest. I just can't remember Bug's Life well enough to like repeat exactly what happened.
I've seen it many times. So they actually hire a circus trope, and not realizing they're a circus trope, they thought they were just big heroes because they found them at a bar.
They did find
Yeah.
the fruit fly was like, I only got a day to live and I'm not spending it here.
Yeah, exactly. Man, good callback, dude. That was word for word.
Yeah, I know.
That's so good. It's
Using my-
like, just because I'm a ladybug, you think I'm a lady?
I'm using my massive talent rejected jokes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I remember that. Hey, did they share the bed too?
No.
I forgot they were in the bar.
So they all share the bed in Santa Poco.
Yeah, they shared the bed in Santa Poco.
They shared the horse also on the way to Santa Poco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Poor horse, man.
Well, poor Carmen had to walk.
Yeah, like
They made the girl walk.
oh man, it was terrible.
But they were, because they're expecting this big payout. And it's like, well, what
Yeah.
are you going to do with your money? Oh, I'm going to go to Manhattan and it's going to be nice. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to buy a car.
I'll buy a car.
I'm going to buy a nice car.
I wonder what the value of the peso was back in the 1900s.
I don't know. It probably was 1-to-1 almost.
Maybe, I guess, yeah.
For all we know, the peso was backed by by gold too. Maybe they're actually gold pesos.
The British dollar.
Meanwhile, there are these El Guapo scouts.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, we'll just go to Santa Poco today and get some tequila, and they'll come to us with open arms. It'll be great. And then Carmen and a bunch of other women are doing laundry like kind of by the river. And they're like, oh no, the scouts, they're coming, the scouts. And they ride over to get the three amigos. And like, today's the day. They're like, now? I thought we were going to do it like in a few days. And
Yeah.
like, no, like the scouts are coming. You got to come and like fight them.
Yeah, like it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
So the scouts come and like kind of like raid the city a little bit. And then in come the three amigos.
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Just kind of out of nowhere. I don't think they really put on their show in this like first part.
No. They were that didn't come till later.
Yeah, I remember them coming out of the building.
Yeah.
And then like he calls him like a scum sucking goat or something.
Oh, he calls him son of a motherless goat.
Son of a motherless goat.
You hear that? You're just like, even he was like, a son of a motherless goat.
Son of a motherless goat.
He's so shook by that they start encircling. So now the three amigos are on
horses.
Yeah, encircling these three scouts, and they start firing their guns off. Their prop guns,
and they're like, arriba, yeah.
And they're confused. It's the scouts.
They're like, we better go tell Guapo. They just ride off, and all the townspeople cheer. Yay!
They think they actually did something for them. They didn't do anything.
And so they think they won the day, and that's when they party. And they have a whole party scene, and they're all getting drunk and having mariachi music. It's all great. Meanwhile, the scouts go back to El Guapo, and they called you son of a motherless goat.
I love this scene. Because they're talking to El Guapo, and he's just standing there, and you realize he's standing there in front of a
camera.
Oh yeah, a 4x5 camera. He's standing right there, and then you realize, then the scene pans over, and he has a photo shoot going on.
He has a photo shoot of like Aladdin or Arabian Nights or something.
Dude, I burst out loud laughing. I'm like, of course the villain is a photographer.
Yeah. By the way, a callback to when before there was flash, you'd use gunpowder to like take pictures.
Oh right. Didn't even catch that. Good stuff.
We're going to go to this Santa Poco. We're going to rip out their intestines, and we're going to put them around their necks and kill them till their eyeballs pop out. I forget what he said.
I don't know.
Something like that.
Squeeze something. Yeah. Something's to squeeze. Something's popping out.
Is that when he says like, shit will come out of them?
Probably. Yeah. You're like, oh man, that's so visceral.
Like all the Mexican guys like smiling around him.
Yeah. They're all laughing with their gray teeth. Look, if you've seen
what teeth?
Yeah, yeah. They're all stained.
Yeah. Well, anyway, woof. So they go back in the morning. And then now El Guapo and the gang comes. And it's like, oh, El Guapo's here. Now's the time to like fight them. So the three amigos come out on their horses. They meet El Guapo, and then Lucky Day goes over to El Guapo and he goes, "Tell us we're gonna die like dogs."
Yeah.
You want me to tell you you're gonna die like a dog? Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're going to die like dogs.
No, we will fight like lions. Huh? I like hearing like the vultures in the background. Yeah, it's just so quiet.
And then they start doing the same skit. They start going around circles on their horses, shooting up in the air.
Guapo's like, I like these guys. They're funny guys. Shoot one of them. No, kill one of them.
Yeah. He shoots Steve Martin's Lucky Day in the arm. So that happens, and then what is it called? Steve Martin's Lucky Day gets up and he realizes he's bleeding, so he walks over.
He's got a shot in his shoulder.
Yeah,
I like it. I like that they did the effects. They just put like dusty like blood on.
Yeah, his suit is still perfectly intact.
Yeah, it just looks dusty.
And he walks over to El Guapo, he walks over to El Jefe.
Well, first he touches. He's like, ow, ow, ow.
Yeah, he comes to the realization that he's actually injured on
he's
set.
Got like he looks at his hand, is like, there's the blood on it. He's like, what is this?
He's trying to point it at like a camera that isn't there.
Yeah. He goes to El Jefe and then he's like, let me see that gun. And then El Guapo's like nods.
Yeah, to his
lieutenant.
Yeah. It's a lot.
He just nods and he looks at it. He goes, "These are real bullets. What's wrong with you? I ought to talk to." And then he looks at like Guapo and all the other banditos.
And he starts touching the bullets. He's like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, yeah, okay.
He starts realizing these are actual bandits.
And he walks over to like the guys. "Hey guys, this is real. What? This is real." And they start crying.
He's just crying for the townspeople.
They start crying. And he goes, "I got shot already." I got shot already.
It's so good. Oh, and then is that when they get
Well, he goes to Guapo. He goes, "Listen, we're movie stars. Like we don't belong here." And he goes, "Movie stars."
He's like, "I don't kill women and crying babies.
"I only kill men." "You go back to where you came from, you movie stars." "Get out of here!" And he runs them out of town. And then they,
which is funny because it is a trailer moment. It makes it look like they're doing something totally epic.
yeah,
They're running away.
yeah. So they run him out of town, and they take over the town. He goes, "City of Santa Poco is no longer under my protection."
Yeah, like you banditos, do as you will. Arriba, arriba.
And
Blowing things up with dynamite.
they take Carmen. I think they just take her, right, as the other woman. Okay, they take her. Even a flower can bloom in the desert.
Yeah. These men, they are like poetry.
Yeah, they're poets. Do you know what foreplay is? No. Good.
Neither do they.
does El Guapo.
Oh, this movie! It's like an onion. Makes you tear up.
I don't know. Maybe it's not quite an onion. Maybe it's just superficially good.
Yeah, superficially.
It's the opposite of an
That's
onion.
why I didn't say it had layers. It makes you cry.
Yeah. So the Amigos they left and then they came back to get their stuff.
Yeah.
And the city's all burnt up and bombed up.
Yeah, they're like, your stuff is gone.
They took everything.
Even our daughter.
Yeah, well, he goes. Do you have any Lucky Dusty Bottoms is like, "Do you have any pair of cufflinks, mother of pearls?" Like, "No, they took everything." "And where's Carmen?" "They took Carmen too." And then they run away.
Yeah.
And then that's when Ned puts on his big boy pants.
Yeah.
And he goes over and puts a line in the sand. He goes, "Are we mice or are we men?"
A literal line in the sand.
Yeah, with his foot. He went,
Yeah. He's like,
yeah, and Steve Martin like joins him in the sand. And the whole time, Chase kind of played a douche.
Yeah,
he's the
like
douchiest of them both.
like a douche idiot. Like he's just a dunce.
Yeah.
Well, because he's the tallest one. He's just a big, tall guy, just being a goof.
Yeah. So they decide to become the heroes. They ride off into the sunset. And then they cut to them having a camp like later that night. They're like, "Yeah, how long do you think we rode until we had to go back and ask for directions?" Just a couple of miles. And then,
good.
by the way, the music in this movie is really good. You think, "Oh, there's musical numbers and there's like songs that they're good songs."
It's catchy stuff, man.
Yeah, they do a cowboy like Gene Autry like cowboy serenade in the campfire, and even the horse is like bum bum bum.
Well, not just the horse.
Everybody,
all the animals, like a bobcat, a coyote, a rabbit,
owls dancing.
Yeah,
And then eventually like, "Good night, Dusty. Good night, Lucky Day." And then this guy, "Good night, Ned." And then the turtle looks at the camera and goes, "Good night, Ned."
I didn't even catch that, dude. Damn these notes. I was looking at my phone.
And then they briefly go over what they have to do. Mm-hmm. And it gets kind of supernatural.
Yeah.
Because apparently the people of Acapulco, they have a special way of getting to El Guapo's compound. You have to find the singing bush. You have to repeat the yeah. It's like this.
Right there.
"Oh, blow the man down." Anyway. Yeah. And the cow kicked Nelly in the barn. The cow kicked Nelly in the
And you know what I like what they did with the singing bush is that it's a bush, so it's not a human.
We'll get into that.
Okay, let's go.
You have to find the singing bush.
Yeah.
Then you have to repeat the incantation. The 3 incantations, mind you. 3 Evil Dead incantations.
So correctly.
Fire your gun into the air to summon, don't get ahead of me, to summon the invisible swordsman who will show you the way to El Guapo's compound.
Yeah.
So first they must trek through the desert.
Yeah.
And they apparently didn't bring any water with them.
Or enough water.
They didn't bring any water with them because first, Lucky Day, he's on his horse and he's got no water in his cantina. He's like, oh. And then Steve Martin, Ned Needlander, he opens his cantina and it's just dirt. He just pours dirt in his face.
Man.
And he just, and then we cut to Chevy Chase's dusty bottoms, pulls out his cantina and just pours water on his head.
An endless supply out of this canteen. So much so he's rinsing out his mouth.
He's rinsing out his teeth.
He does it twice.
You see Steve Martin and Martin Short's looking at him like, and then he throws the cantina on the ground and just wastes the water.
Well, no, the thing is, the comedic genius here is that there's a slight delay in it. So the canteen hits the ground, and for a split second, you're like, oh, it's done. And then water just starts gushing out of it. And then he starts putting a lip balm on.
It's like, lip balm?
It's like, oh, you saw lip balm? So dumb, man.
And I think this is where one of the most famous scenes in this movie is.
Oh, we forgot. We skipped over the fact that, well, when they got to the...
Hang on.
Oh, right. I forget. Sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself.
This movie is so good. You get ahead. Because these could kind of happen in different places.
You have to watch it again.
I know, right? But this is one of the most famous scenes, and you'll probably hear people quoting this. I'm like, what the hell are you quoting? So it's El Guapo's 40th birthday, right? And they're having a big party. And he's all mad, right? For some reason. Yeah. And then Jefe comes and goes, hey, El Guapo, we got plenty of piñatas for your party. It's going to be great. And then Guapo's like, would you say we have a plethora of piñatas? He's like, yeah, I suppose so, El Guapo. And he goes, do you know what a plethora is? And he goes, no, I don't.
To be honest with you,
I don't think I know. And he goes, then why would you say we have a plethora of piñatas?
And then El Jefe is like essentially telling him like
they have an existential conversation.
Yeah. He's like, it sounds like you're deflecting.
Sounds like you're deflecting, El Guapo. Maybe something else is bothering you. Is this because the Carmen will not lay with you and she'd rather be in prison? He goes, yes. Oh no. First he's like, are you turning 40? He's like, no.
He's in a midlife crisis.
Because if El Guapo wants something, he takes it. So if El Guapo wants the women, he takes the women.
Yeah. And then he was like, I don't know what he said. He's something along the lines of, he's like, but women, you can't just take them. They have to come wheeling.
Like a flower. Yeah. They have to unravel themselves like a flower.
Yeah, they need time to bloom. He's like, but El Guapo, what will happen if she doesn't? He's
this movie.
He's like, oh, take her anyway.
You take the women.
I'm like, what the hell, dude?
And that's when we cut to El Guapo. Man. And we missed that part. We did miss this part though.
Yeah.
We alluded to earlier. We talked about the tiny balls. we'll talk about the tiny balls as we get along. Yeah, but anyway, what happens is they find this crevice here, right?
Yeah.
And there is the singing bush, and it's like, oh, blow the man down. Yeah. And it's just a bush that just like shakes and sings.
Horses when she comes.
Excuse me.
Come on,
are you the singing bush?
Follow the sea with a yeah.
Oh, the cow kicked Nelly in the belly in the barn. And like, excuse me, are you the singing bush? Oh, hard lady. Like it just keeps going. Like it's got to be the singing bush.
Yeah.
And then what we got to do is repeat the incantation and then shoot. It's like shoot one on the floor, shoot one on the side, and then shoot one in the air.
Yeah.
And it's I forget like what they said, but one goes like toop, 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 toop.
Yeah.
And he shoots on the ground. And and then Steve Martin's like, bah, 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 bah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And then Chevy Chase goes bah, 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 bah. Like he really just makes a noise like that and shoots like straight in front.
Oh no, he shoots to his side.
Yeah, he shoots in some angle.
Yeah.
And you hear
and this imprint of a body just shows up in the sand and you're just like, oh no.
I think he just killed the invisible swordsman.
Yeah.
They pick up an invisible hand and just pull up. Yeah, he's dead.
You're supposed to shoot in the sky.
Are we gonna find El Guapo now? And that's when the plane with little balls flies out because what happened was they mentioned earlier that Ned Nylander was in Little Nettie Goes to War and flew the Tugman 601.
Oh, right.
Hey, that's the Tugman 601. You think it's going to Guapo's compound? I will bet on it. And they follow it. That's how they kept.
Just what luck.
Yeah.
What luck.
So they make it to Guapo's compound, and the Germans are there.
Yes.
That's where they came. That's where they were going. That's where they. And he brought them the guns for his birthday.
Yeah.
So it's the Germans in the suit plus the Baron, main German who we saw at the beginning.
Bought them some
Because-
bolt action rifles.
I know, right? You know what Germans brought to Mexico?
What?
Beer.
Oh, right.
Beer.
So, well, when they fled Argentina,
Beer.
they brought beer, light lagers.
You know what they brought?
Yeah.
Polka music.
Oh, right. Yeah. The Midwest Polka King.
Anyway, and apparently guns from to El Guapo.
Yeah, guns.
So they have a party, and the three amigos start crashing it. And I saw this scene where they're walking all funny, like on the side of like their castle or whatever.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah,
then a couple of banditos come and they just pause.
Oh, yeah.
And they're wearing like loud like mariachi costumes. They just pause. The banditos walk by. They start
Don't
moving
acknowledge
again.
them at all.
Don't acknowledge them at all. And then they get to the top of the castle, and they are all gonna swing. They're gonna Tarzan swing their way into the prisoners' chambers. And
So good.
yeah, and Chevy Chase first. He does a Tarzan swing right into Carmen's cell, right?
Yeah.
Which is perfect.
Right into a wardrobe.
Right into the closet. And then like the guard is like, "What was that noise?" And she's like, "I do not know." and then Steve Martin and Martin Short, they go at the same time.
Yeah.
Martin Short goes, and then he does like a complete like 190 or whatever.
Yeah, 180. He swings straight up. And his stirrups lock into a freaking pinata. And Steve Martin, this is too long, and he crashes right into El Guapo's party. It's the floor so hard. Oh, God.
And he goes, El Guapo, and he goes, arrest that man.
To no one in particular, mind you.
They put guns on him. Put him in jail. So they put him in jail, and then they have the party. And then
good.
some of my El Jefe is like, me and the guys, we just wanted to get something special.
Yeah.
You see them all like digging their foot in the ground, like, oh yeah.
It's like oh, shucks.
Yeah. And then they open it. It's a sweater.
It's a sweater.
It's a sweater. It's a sweater. And he's like, oh, what a great couple of guys.
He wears it around his neck.
What else could I expect this from? So then Carmen and Dusty Bottom's Chevy Chase, they're like sneaking out. Chevy Chase didn't have the guts to knock someone's head.
Oh, right,
with the
yeah.
butt of a gun. So Carmen did it for him, and they're like trying to escape.
Yeah.
But Chevy Chase, Dusty Bottoms took the clothes of the bandito guard.
Yes.
And then he's like walking out, and then he gets like swept up in you guys are great.
Yeah, in the mob.
In the mob, and he goes, I remember every one of your faces. You remember that time that we stole the tequila? Yeah, and we raided the thing. Yeah,
And Dusty Bottom's just like in there haranguing. And
yeah,
he's in the
hooray!
front, by the way.
And then he goes, you remember we raped the goats. And we stole the women. Yeah.
No. He said,
I know you wrote it down. So
yeah, he rode
away with the horses, rode away with the women.
Yeah.
And raped the horses.
Yeah. I was like, what?
Remember we raped the horses. We raped the horses. Remember we rode away in the women. What?
Run away though. He's like, who are you? Who the hell are you? He's one of the guys. Oh man.
Because there's so many amigos here. What is this wrong with this? What is amigos falling from the sky?
And then Martin Short's character just literally hits the table. Like, it should have destroyed him. That was the heaviest dummy I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, and then this calls back to the German guy because they're like, okay, we'll execute them.
Yeah.
And then the German guy's like, wait, I know this man.
Is that Ned Niederlander?
You know him?
I know him. I love him.
I worship him. Worship me. Because I wanted to be as fast as Ned Niederlander. I see every one of his movies. But then I learned about trick photography. And, you know another guy duped by movies? Because Carmen was duped by the movie.
Oh,
Hired
yeah.
them. So,
So it shows two. We see a yin and a yang where she's still holding up that hope, and he's seeing the other side of the
he
coin.
lost faith in his hero. So he even had the what do you call it? The Three Amigos gun.
Yes, he did.
And he goes, nobody's that fast.
So
I'm
he's
that fast.
Well, if this movie had ever, if it was like an onion, we could have delved in to find out why he still had the gun, the same one as Martin Short's character. Ooh, fancy. He still had some hope there.
Well, I mean, I still have a Batman mask and Batman
Is real.
gear in my closet. So
The best.
There is no Batman, but there is Batman.
Because Batman is not a person.
Batman is forever.
Whoa.
Oh, I don't have. There's no Batman sound effects.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I can't wait. Anyway,
so stoked.
if anyone who watched this, oh man, that was so awesome. Anyway, so he's like, I am that fast. And he's like, does anyone have a stopwatch? No, we do this for real. So they
We do
draw.
it for keeps.
He's like, if you want to die, you die with a man's gun.
Oh yeah, El Jefe hands him like the longest Cougar Magnum.
Yeah, like a Jack Sparrow gun.
And the thing is, El Jefe, we were just talking, looks like Mexican Jack Sparrow.
Yes.
He really is Mexican Jack Sparrow, the whole getup and everything.
Yeah. Well,
It's pretty
anyway, Mexican Jack Sparrow.
Hands the gun to Ned Needlander, and the gun's like a lead weight.
Yeah, just this big heavy thing. He falls he takes it and he just like his hand like falls to the ground. It's so heavy. And then they I forget how they do it. I think they just did the cowboy thing where they're like they're holding their hands. Yeah.
Spaghetti Western style.
And they draw.
Yeah.
And Ned draws first and shoots the German.
Right through a freaking everything.
Yeah, he shoots the German, but he's like flying away. So the gun is so powerful. He's like, whoa!
Yeah, I've shot a 357 Magnum. That was a big boy.
And then Carmen's got a gun and she puts it on everybody because she's escaped.
got a gun.
And she got they got the horses and they're out. Chevy Chase or somehow they end up turning the tides on everybody.
Oh yeah, because so it's we find out that we see the camera pans over. Lucky Day is actually up in one of the stoops, and he has his gun drawn.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "Everybody, put your guns down." It's just like
He throws a knife at the German guy who gets his hand stuck to the thing.
yeah. So
Put
now
on your gun too, and he drops it.
Yeah, now their two sharpest shooters are dead. So or stuck.
Incapacitated.
Yeah, that's a good word. Incapacitated. So now he tells everybody to drop their gun, and as we saw in the trailer, Dusty Bottoms drops his. He's like, "No, not you, Dusty. Pick up your gun." He's like, "Oh my bad."
Everyone dropped their gun.
It's so slapstick.
Yeah.
It's so it's wholesome, funny humor.
And I like the them running back and forth, like opening the gates. Open the gates, and they okay, you go over there.
It's
While all the banditos have their heads on the ground on the floor.
yeah, it's like
And don't think about following us.
mind you, he's holding a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
That's it. They all have one.
So they ride off with Carmen.
Yeah.
Three Amigos and Carmen. And then all the guys get up and start chasing them.
Yeah, and then El Guapo's like, "Let's go get them and kill them and all this stuff."
Yeah. So by the way, did you catch this as as the banditos start riding away? Guapo's like girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, walks out with a sweater.
The sweater. She looks all sad.
Because he forgot his sweater.
Because he was wearing it up until then,
Yeah,
around
it
his
was on his
shoulders. Yeah. And then that's when they find the Germans.
Find the Red Baron, essentially.
They're like, hey, little Nettie goes to war. Don't you remember how to fly that thing? It's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's my stunt guy, but I think I remember how to fly it.
It's not even here. By the magic of movies.
They fly off back to Santa Poco with.
And I gotta interject because as I was watching this movie, it's an old movie, so I was expecting to see the prop style of the plane, and man, was I satisfied because I got to see the fishing line that actually held the plane.
Aww.
I was like, "That's fantastic! That's exactly what I needed to see." It was good. It was totally worth it. It was only for one scene.
I think the only other time I've seen that fake work was Kill Bill. I think the airplanes were all stupid fake in Kill Bill.
I haven't seen Kill Bill since it released in theaters, man.
Dude,
I gotta rewatch that stuff.
Quentin Tarantino, man.
Yeah.
We got to review a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, how have we not done that?
He hasn't made a new movie since we've been doing this.
Wow. Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
happy
Next time.
Happy Cinco de Mayo 2023.
Wow. 2023. Ow!
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so they ride off back to Santa Poco, and it says, "What can this people?" Okay, they ride there. They know El Guapo's coming, right?
Stupid.
And then they're like, "El Guapo's coming," and because they flew there, and El
Yeah.
Guapo's taking his horse, so it's going to take like a day or so
Yeah.
for them to get there. As we, have to pass the,
we find out.
the singing bush and everything, right?
Yeah.
The desert. So it takes a while for them to get there, and they're like, "Well, we can use the people of Santa Poco to help us. What can the people of Santa Poco do?"
Yeah.
And then they all look I'm like,
What are the people of Santa Poco good at? And you're like, I think we're good at
in your Martin Short voice.
sewing.
Yeah. What can the people of Santa Poco do? What are you good at? What are they good at?
They're good at sewing, man.
We can sew. We can sew. We can sew.
Make it so.
I need to go back and now that I think I'll watch it and see if there's like all kinds of doilies and like sewn things everywhere. Or
Probably.
look for some great tapestries or something on that. It's
gotta be something.
Then they're like, so how do we use this?
There you go. You can sew. If only we had known this earlier.
And they're like, hey, do you remember the movie Amigos, Amigos, Amigos? Will this work?
So ridiculous.
Of course it's going to work. So there's a montage of a Guapo's gang showing up.
Yeah.
And the city and people of Santa Poco sewing. Sew like your life depends on it.
So we do a quick take of everybody sewing. It's just like pan, wipe.
Is it me or do you ever think about like using the old school like pedal sewing machine? I feel like that'd be more like satisfying
It has to be. It's like driving stick.
because then you can actually slow the thing down a lot easier, right?
Yeah, I've tried using those new automated ones. It's almost gone through my finger. Like that's some scary stuff.
Yeah, I was in home ec a long time ago in middle school, and apparently that happened to some kid, and it was one of the the don'ts.
The don'ts, yeah.
The don'ts. The other don't in home ec was in shop. No, it was shop. It didn't happen to anybody, but someone was using the table saw and like didn't hold it right, and apparently like it actually flew. And the shop teacher's like, "You see that hole there?" And it was seriously like a 2x4.
Whoa.
That was someone who didn't hold on to the
A 2x4 just jettisoned across the room.
yeah, like a harpoon.
Holy crap.
He's like, imagine if you were standing there, you would not be standing there anymore.
You would have been Vlad the Impaled. Chad the Impaled.
Yeah, get over here. But anyway, so El Guapo's gang shows up, and there's not a soul to be found.
No one.
Where is everybody?
Not one person.
And then they see an amigo, and they shoot at the amigo.
Yeah.
Then they see someone an amigo somewhere. Shoot at that amigo. And they shoot at that amigo.
Mind you, all of these amigos look like Steve Martin Short, and Chevy Chase.
Well, I remember I think I saw one of the first times, like, why are some of these like costumes so crappy?
Yeah.
But there's like amigos everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they see like maybe like 5 amigos running down like in like Three Stooge like Scooby Doo like all over the place.
Yeah, it's like one goes in and out one door and all that stuff.
There's amigos everywhere.
So many amigos.
And then then there's like there's like Home Alone traps. that
Yeah.
the horses are like falling into, and like all kinds of crazy stuff's happening.
Now we have the command is now falling apart from within. They're like, no, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Start going.
And then
Then El Jefe is like,
well, a bunch of the banditos, they're actually riding away. It's like, no, we can't do this. It's scary.
Oh, yeah.
And then El Guapo is like, you cowards.
oh yeah,
And then Jefe is like, it's okay. I'm still here, El Guapo.
yeah. And kablammy, he
Yeah.
gets shot.
Yeah, that sounds so well in my head for westerns.
Yeah, it's the best. It's perfect. It's perfect.
They shoot at Guapo,
Yeah.
and then Guapo is dead to rights on the ground.
Yep.
And that's when the people of Santa Poco come out dressed as amigos. Every single one of them, even
All
the
of
kids.
them. But they're all just missing the red ascot.
Well, if you look at them, they're just wearing doilies on like a black.
Oh, right. They are.
Yeah, they just sewed like doilies.
But what kills me is they were able to get all the black hats, the sombreros in too, the mariachi hats.
Pitch black in the middle of the desert. Yeah, that's harder than you think. But anyway, Guapo, he's like, that's a good trick. And he's like, he goes up to Steve Martin. He goes, wait, come over here. I have something to tell you. And he goes, what? He's like, come here. Come closer. Come here. And he shoots him in the foot.
Yeah.
That's a good trick too.
And then he just dies.
He just plots and dies. You know, that reminds me of remember Dark Knight Rises, where Talia al Ghul, she was in the thing, and then she's like, and now the nuclear bomb will go off and you will die. And she went, bleh.
No, I don't even remember that.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
but except that was a Batman movie, and this is a comedy.
This is comedy, yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, so the people of Santa Poco are grateful that the three amigos saved the day.
Ah, they did.
Yeah, and then that's when like the kid's like, I want to be an amigo like you. He's like, no, you need to stay here and take care of your family.
Yeah.
And then apparently all have girlfriends now. And then Steve Martin's like I'll come back one day. And Carmen's like, why?
Yeah, why?
Why? And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. And then Chevy Chase had a girlfriend, and then Ned freaking like had like Eva
girlfriend?
Mendes come out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Like Eve Mendes.
The only chick dressed in white. Like she literally comes out of the back of the crowd.
I missed you, Ned.
And then disappears again. It was pretty funny. But I mean, I think, and that's it.
No.
That's it. No, didn't.
No.
What
There's
was?
one. They all get on their horses.
Okay.
And then like the Carmen's dad, like the mayor or the head of Santa Poco says, I know it's not like $1 million pesos or whatever we told you can give you, but this is all we could save. And and then Ned's like, hey, throw it this way. And then he throws it and he goes, whenever there is injustice, you will find us.
Whenever there's suffering, we'll be there.
Whenever liberty is threatened, you will find the three amigos.
Yeah!
And they ride off into the sunset.
Yep. That's pretty good.
Dude, that was an epic movie.
It was a lot of movie.
You know what? I'm going to give this 4 out of 4 amigos.
For amigos, all right.
The story is great and simple. The characters are compelling and fun. The jokes land, and you'll find yourself laughing and quoting about this movie for decades to come. The Three Amigos is a classic. Watch it as soon as you can.
Nice. I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 3 amigos because there's 3 of them.
That's true.
It's a movie from the early 80s and somehow has comedy that lands nearly 40 years later. Who doesn't love a buddy comedy about saving podunk townspeople from an evil oppressor? It's a tried and true formula. I mean, Shrek freaking did it. I was like, it also doesn't hurt to have comedic masters like Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Chevy Chase in the lead roles. As for now, my friends, Feliz Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. Another good one, John Landis directed this movie. Also directed The Blues Brothers.
Oh, there we go.
Another great movie.
Got a half-tank gas and a full pack of cigarettes.
I think he also directed American Werewolf in London, which we've mentioned a few times.
Speaking of American Werewolf, I actually watched Teen Werewolf or Teenage Werewolf.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox.
Just saw it right after this movie because it was in the suggested movies.
With him like a Superman with his hairy.
Yeah, great. Starts off with doom 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 doom.
Oh boy. Yeah, I actually never saw Teen Wolf. I don't know.
Oh man, watch it. It's great. It's on HBO, whatever the hell they call it now. Max.
Max.
Just Max.
Max. Sounds like a dog name. Here,
It
Max.
does. Come here, Maximilian. It is.
Wait, here comes Max.
Whoops.
What was the dog's name? Like this dog.
I don't know.
He had a name.
Cujo.
No.
I don't know.
Sprinkles?
Chuckles.
Chuckles?
No. Probably Chuckles or something.
Dude, I'm sad now.
I don't know the name of that dog.
We had a dog on this show, and he had a name.
Yeah, I forgot.
Dog.
Yeah, we'll find out.
And remember to like, share, subscribe. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can find us. We are on the everything these days.
Yeah, now.
And that has been our Cinco de Mayo special, The Three Amigos. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, joined once again for Mr. Abel Pineda on Clubhouse Movies Podcast. We will catch you next time.
I'm going to pump you so full of lead.